What's up YouTube, COD4Man221 here, and welcome back to our Company of Heroes 2 online replay. We got a great match here. We're once again playing with Nick, and we're going against Big Jolly Giant and the Kingslayer, OKW and Wehr mods. So you can see we're about 2 minutes, and this is a little bit of a longer replay. And Nick has his machine gun up, and start trying to push back that Kupelwagen. You know, that's a great counter to the Kupelwagen. Just have a couple machine guns, right? And he's also fortified this house. Meanwhile, I pushed into the south here. You know, I've manned this building. You know, most of the windows aren't facing the fuel. There's only one window facing away from the fuel, basically towards this area here. And my machine gun is in the trench. So I basically secured the fuel down there. And it's securing the fuel up here. So we're doing pretty well so far in an early start to the fuel. They are pushing for this. Now, I want you to notice the cover system here, how we're in full heavy cover and how vulnerable these guys are in light cover. And, you know, these guys backing out in the light cover, being shot at. Look how rapidly these guys' health is going down. Especially right in the middle there. All my guys are in some kind of cover here, even light cover. And he's going to be smart. He's going to realize he is in light cover and going to hop over this, which I didn't even know you could do. Didn't even know you could hop from this target platform to the bottom part. And then we start shooting. That's okay. I'm simply going to flank around to this area here with the heavy cover and keep shooting at these guys. Keep in mind, directional is cover is directional, so I am going to be taking shots on the flank where these guys are not protected by their heavy cover. Now, I've noticed that in my last couple of games, especially the OKW, people are blobbing up again. That's not something new to Company of Heroes, but it's becoming a little old to have these giant blobs. And they're even more dangerous with the blobs are even more dangerous with Panzer Shreks. We saw in the last video with the Panzer Grenadiers. Look at these guys, gotta fall back or I'm gonna get killed here. I'm trying to preserve more of my infantry this match. So I'm in light cover here. I don't necessarily even have a mortar out. So they're kind of working together against me right now. They do have a mortar out, and this is the OKW's infantry. I'm going to move my MG behind this truck here and try to get some cover. These guys are going to capture this position right up here, give me some more munitions. And I'm under attack by an enemy mortar, but I got to keep my MG right here. However, it might be smart because that mortar does have me 0 to try to get back. And this guy's doing exactly what he wants. He's basically going to keep shooting at me with his Grenadiers, but I'm coming back with my conscripts. Conscripts have the anti-tank grenade. They just hopped into that house. That was pretty, you know, we have all these windows facing. Why not give us some nice cover? These guys are in a crossfire, so they're forced to fall back. You can see Nick is pushing up on this side a little bit, has some mortar ATs out. He's very support heavy against any kind of possible Kupelwagen, which they actually got destroyed at this point. And we got an officer. Now, one thing that's great about the blobs, if they have an officer, is just aim right for the officer. Because if you kill them, they all retreat. So, that's something. I was first to fall back with this unit. I'm surprised my men are actually dying to these guys. But I gotta fall back, and I might lose that squad. There's a sniper back there that I see now. So I believe Nick and me chose the same doctrine. Yes, we chose a shock rifle frontline tactics. Like this is the flamethrower tank. Incendiary artillery barrage are going to be crucial, and shock troops on the IS-2s. So speaking of shock troops, here are my shock troops coming into the field. Now you can see these guys are a little suppressed right now, and these guys are going to come in and they are just going to destroy these units. These guys are 290 manpower and they're forced to fall back. Meanwhile, I see these guys bunched up right here. I'm going to toss a grenade. Now, because they're two different players there, the officer's going to pull back, but I did wipe out that squad with that grenade. I was even launching an artillery barrage from my field gun. The Soviet field guns, or anti-tank guns, are probably one of the most useful in the game because they can not only go into camouflage, which is awesome, but they can also launch a light artillery barrage. I have nothing protecting my AT, so I'm going to try to fall back with that. I'm reinforcing my men back at base here, and I'm going to try to get back as soon as possible. I have a machine gun moving up, but they're just going to keep pushing with this officer. You know, he does have some Obersoldaten with him. They don't have any kind of upgrades, but he's got to be careful though too. So I'm going to try to fall back here. And they have a sniper out, and let's see how many kills he has. He already has 4 kills. So they're kind of pushing me back right now with the combined force a little bit of the officer. But he's going to run right into these guys. I'm going to start taking shots. I'm going to get veterancy on one of my conscripts here. And these guys are reinforcing my shock troops back at base. And he's forced to fall back. I managed to kill the officer there. I think if you kill the officer, it should cost more. And at this point, I realize there's a sniper out. It should cost more, I think, to reinforce if your officer has been killing your officer squad. Or the squad should just... I don't know if it's bad if the squad just disbands. Or you just lose the squad. I mean, the officer's not too expensive. Anyway, he's upgraded another squad. Big Jolly's upgraded another squad with a light machine gun. But I do have a lot of men. And Nick has a mortar over here to support me. Well, we can see a little bit of this mentality here of all these guys pushing up. My AT, even though it's on... It's not on free fire, it's on like target vehicles, it's still shooting at these guys. And that mortar was a great shot. So I lost my conscript squad unfortunately there. And I'm being pushed back, but my AT just killed one of those guys. Nick has some shock troops to help support me though. I wasn't liking that engagement. Anyway, I have more troops coming up right now. I think he started to build a fuel cache already. He's pretty much secure down here. Relatively. Probably using the machine gun. But he's helping me out, and they're going to almost lose that squad there. You can just see how devastating the shock troops are against these kind of units, the Panzer Fusiliers. I like Panzer Fusiliers. I'm a big fan of using them at long range, and especially with Gewehrs. But you can just get away from shock troops at that point blank, you know. They are much slower firing units with their rifles. And you can see Nick's mortar does have a total of 6 kills, almost about 1. And a rifle grenade went off. So now we have a Puma out, and this is an issue for me. Because one, I'm building my T-34, my battalion command here. I usually don't build the T-34, I'm a big Su-85 fan. But I figured I'd want to get some tanks on this map. You know, try the T-34, maybe get a half track. I don't end up getting a half track in this match, but it's important to get this thing built and get a T-34 out early. Because I'm going to try to save for an IS-2. But that's many command points away. And look at this guy, he sniped like 3 infantry already. Anyway, these guys are getting mowed down basically by the machine gun and the fire. They basically have no health whatsoever. You know, it was a nice little crossfire I had going there. And I kind of want to man this building right here, but I'm not sure. You know, I think it'd be too much of a push. And they do have their sniper around, who is now Vet 1 with 11 kills. So he's doing a good job microing. I had a very bad experience on this map with an enemy sniper that managed to, it was killing all my support units. And the guy was really good at micromanaging him. And he's trying to blow up my cover right here, which is smart with the Puma, or he's just shooting at me. But yeah, that's kind of the blob I'm talking about. So I'm forced to fall back. And I'm like, okay. And they all have the like the increase because of the officer. So it basically means they'll fight harder. But if the officer dies, they will retreat. So I'm going to launch a preemptive barrage trying to keep these guys off. I thought they were going to run this way, but they decided to run around. So this gun is basically screwed. But I do have a T-34 out right now. And look how these guys are so tight. Like, I'm killing a lot of these men. You know, I have shock troops and grenades. I have conscripts. They're going to kill my AT gun, but that's okay. Grenades are going off. I'm trying to finish off units. The officer's down to 1 man. I tried to kill that 1-man unit, but my T-34 missed its shot. Now, I'm not sure how good a Puma is compared to a T-34, but I know when it starts getting free shots on me, that's not good. And it does seem to be doing some decent damage. He even hit my rear armor there, and he's going to pop smoke and get the hell out of there. So we have 2 guys right now. They've completely left Nick alone, which is a good thing. But he's trying to score me with his mortar and setting it up. And keep in mind, we have 42 fuel, 42 munitions per minute, so we are saving up a lot for the incendiary artillery barrages, which are totally worth it. I'm going to fall back a little bit. Looks like this part of his house just broke randomly. More shock troops are on the field for me here. I need to get these engineers up to the front lines to help heal up my tank to repair it, because it is critically damaged right now. Well, it's not critically damaged. It's damaged enough against that Puma. You can see they have an AT gun up. And this guy looks like he's trying to like hide in the wreckage of this tank. Which he looks pretty into me. I don't know about that. So I might, you know, we're kind of by this fence right here. It's going to give me cover from this direction if they attack, but it's not going to give me any cover from this side. Nick's going to move with his shock troops. You know, why give the enemy a free fuel? And he starts getting shot at by the sniper. One of the cool things about the sniper is he does have that like incendiary round here, and that will like stun a unit. And we'll see him use that later against me, which is quite devastating actually. Can be used quite well. Now, I'm repairing my tank right here, and it's all quiet on the Western Front right now. World War I reference, but they are getting a lot of ATs. I'm surprised at how many ATs this guy has. Pack Jolly. So they're basically fortifying their position along the trenches here with ATs and anti-infantry and a sniper. Now Nick should really throw down like a smoke or something just to keep that sniper off. But he doesn't know there's a sniper there yet. And the sniper's picking off units and they're throwing grenades at him and shooting rifle grenades. And Soviet mortars are so good with this precision strike. So see, they're trying to take this center here. Now, even though these guys do like an anti-tank rifle grenade, I'm not too worried. I'm going to run over some curve of my T-34 and try to push these guys back. You can see it's an artillery flare they launched against us. They started hitting me with an AT. Yeah, they did launch that at me, the anti-tank rifle grenade. Costly 25 munitions, I think. Just want to keep them pushed off. They just want to neutralize the middle, so they're going to stop bleeding VPs. That looks like water right there. Oh, bummer. Nick didn't get his mortar out in time, so that's gone. German mortar effectively killed him. So I have my shock troops here. I figure, why attack the center when I can come around the flank? What I'm really trying to go for is I'm trying to go for this anti-tank so I can move up my tank again. But I see a blob right there. And I'm calling artillery down on. It comes pretty fast, actually. About 5 seconds. And he's going to fall back, but it launched this on my own men here. I'm moving in my T-34. But I have to be careful. There are a lot of ATs around here. And just like that, my tank is damaged heavily and destroyed. 2 ATs. I'm launching my grenades in here. I want to start taking out, especially the mortar that killed Nick's mortar. So I'm going to keep moving in. These guys are becoming more and more veterans. 16 kills on them. These guys have 2. I'm just going to ignore this car right now. It's facing the wrong direction. It can't really do a whole lot of damage against me. So I'm going to push, and I see there's a sniper here who's going to try to finish off my squad right here. But look, he stunned me with that. This shot there. That was pretty expensive, but it's not going to stop me from taking out his crew. And I'm going to get this guy the hell out of here. I have another T-34. And since he's pulling back, this is not the best idea to turn your side flank to this guy, but look at that. Who's going to take out the sniper? The combat engineers. I'm trying to get the hell out of here. He could just keep pushing there, none to stop me, really. And they're manning more of those ATs. So I'm pulling my T-34 the hell back, and I'm going to start saving up for an IS-2. And the center's still neutralized with an MG right there. A lot of fighting's going on the southern flank here, and look at all these mass infantry from this guy, the Kingslayer. This is a real slug-out match pretty much between us so far early on. You know, we're making pushes, they're making pushes. A lot of infantry on that side. But my conscripts are becoming more and more veterans. So are my shock troops. And these shock troops, you know, if you can keep them very high veterancy, I already have the bulletins. I don't think you guys can see. Oh, you can. Cool. So they receive less suppression and they're more accurate. So that's pretty good so far. Especially these higher veterancy levels where it basically makes them very accurate. They already have the survivability, and they have trip wire flares, which I've never really used before, I don't think. At this point, I'm going to get some medics. I know I have a lot of infantry. I do have some extra manpower right now, so why not make sure I can keep my men more alive? You know, we do just be able to heal up the troops. Anyway, I'm going to try to take this. I am getting mortared, though. They remanned that. In fact, this guy remanned a lot of stuff. A lot of the Wehrmachts. And Nick has taken the center back, which is good. So I'm ready for a blob. You can see I have 3 machine guns. I'm daring this blob to come up right here because I know that they would just get destroyed. What the hell was that? Oh, was that a... That was a flare. Of course you see that in my position. That's smart, actually. I'm going to get out of here. I was building some of the sandbags to try to get my men more cover at this kind of angle here. So they're taking this victory point and they're pushing towards the center. And Nick does have a tank, and mine is still getting repaired right now, and they can see that, which makes you a little nervous because I see this coming at me. And I can get an ISC. I'm going to call down a barrage like right along this area here. And I'm just going to try to fall back because there's no sense in me basically being right here. So they actually managed to steal my AT. And I say, you know what, they want it. Good for them. I don't really need an AT. But I'm pushing it. I'm like, how dare you steal my AT like that? That's really cool that these guys have secure mode. They're actually hitting me with a mortar, and they're going to swing around their AT. So they have 3 ATs right here, 4 ATs. No, 3 ATs and a Puma. So my tank will get decimated if I moved in like that. So I'm setting up for my IS-2. I'm pretty close actually in fuel-wise. They're getting a lot of fuel per minute. And I basically have a lot of manpower. And you can see I'm making sure all my men are healed up and we're getting ready to go now. I do have a little bit of an MG spam right here. I'm going to admit that. It is pretty close to have, 3 MGs. But when you're dealing with like the large force blob that I kind of saw, you kind of need the extra suppression. Just to make sure these guys are going to die, basically. And I'm planning on putting a fuel cache right here to help out when I can. And these guys, he's upgrading with Wehr, so he's wasting a lot of... I wouldn't say he's wasting, he's investing in these guys, which is good. He's investing a lot of munitions into these guys, because it is rather expensive to upgrade with the recon package. And I can't wait to have this IS-2 pop out. And you can see my machine guns are going down. We're going to start suppressing these guys. That is if we can see them, of course. And the IS-2 will be brought out any second now. I'll see it, I'm sure. And then I am suppressing these men right here. This AT gun must be lucky against infantry. So the IS-2 is out now. Very deadly tank. Joseph Stalin 2 tank. And its shells are like explosive, it seems like. 120mm gun. So I had to fall back. I don't want to lose my veteran troops here. And I'm pushing that guy back. He didn't have like some rapid advance on. Or like blitz or something. Let's go check it out. Look how many infantry. This guy has a ton of stuff. Ah, he used breakthrough tactics. That was a special ability. So I don't want to let them know I have an IS-2 yet. I really want my Dushka to be upgraded on my tank. I am flanking around this side though. Also, yeah, I'm going to toss a grenade in and try to wipe out that mortar, which I managed to, and now I'm calling a strike down. You should realize that those are just flame strikes, basically, just to push them this way. And then after that strike, push them down to this corner. I'm going to move in with my tanks right here. Try to do some damage. So now they're down to 2 men in that AT. I'm surprised how much damage my T-34 took there. But he's forced to retreat, and I'm like, does that guy really want to push? They're trying to... He's really using this Puma to snipe, which is rather interesting. He's kind of hiding behind his ATs there, which I don't like. There's even a Stuka Sufus all the way up here. So I'm repairing my T-34 first because it's more heavily damaged. At this point I realize I really need another engineer squad. I'm going to start shooting at this anti-tank rocket launcher. I need to kind of push him back. Maybe I can push in some of my own tanks. You can see Red's kind of vying for the middle here, and I'm taking on some of the armor of the enemy. We also have a Panther down here. And whenever I hear Stuka Sufus, I basically try to retreat. Get my guys the hell back. And look at that. Both my machine guns escaped with 1 man. That was crazy. I think some kind of mine went off that wasn't my own. The ultimate prize would be the Soviets capturing a Stuka Sufus. I don't even think those things get abandoned, but that'd be awesome. So Nick has his T-34 and his classic T-17, no T-70. wonder why I keep calling it a T-17. I don't even think there's a tank called a T-17. So this guy's almost done. I have these engineers out to repair. You can see massive infantry compared to me. These guys are all getting healed up, and these guys are now Vet 3 with 25 kills. Those grenades are so deadly against these guys. So deadly against any kind of mortars or machine guns. It needs to keep remanning these ATs. You bet that I would love to destroy these ATs like I did in the last video with my tanks. And if I can, I'm going to do that. First, I got to push them back. So right now I'm saying, okay, they're heavily entrenched right here. Heavily entrenched. Nothing really behind me to hold, so I might want to shift my focus towards the center and help, you know, nick out if I need, if they start attacking there. And I just know to start moving once the mortar comes by, but direct hit on that guy in the shock trooper squad, so that's unfortunate. I love shock troops. They're such good units, especially against the Panzer Fusiliers. Some say, are they overpowered? Debatable. You know, they basically do no damage whatsoever at any kind of long range. You can see I'm not even doing any damage to that unit right there. These guys are pushing in with their Shreks, trying to take out the fuel possibly against Nick, I guess. Anyway, I was laughing at this point. I missed it, but I pushed out my IS-2 and shot right here, and they were all kind of grouped up, and I wiped out the full squad. So this is a no-win situation for me. There's no way I can take on this many units, especially in that concentration. And I see that, I'm like, oh boy. You know, when you see this amount of units, they actually almost wiped out another one of my squads. I threw a grenade and wasn't able to wipe out that AT, but I am throwing more incendiary barrages down. I'm really trying to kill the ATs and use them, just force them back. Maybe even the officer might get killed. Almost got wiped out. And there's even some medical supplies here, which I may try to seize later on. So I did build that fuel cache as my spare engineer squad unit, and I need to get this guy back. Everyone has tripwire flares. I don't even think those are that useful, but it's going to heal up this IS-2. It's not too damaged from that barrage. And he even has the Blitz truck. Interesting. Something that's kind of cool is he's using his Oberkommando West's kind of headquarters here to repair and heal up his AT, which is quite smart actually. Get these guys healed. You know, you want the guns at full strength. It's a little bit of a lull in the fighting right now. But yeah, they're just remanning. They're picking up ATs. Capturing positions. He still hasn't got he's paid for the reinforcement of that unit, but still hasn't actually got it, which is interesting. So the great thing is that my men are healing up when they come back to base, which is really quite nice. And I'm saving up for another IS-2, which sounds crazy, but it'll be worth it. I need to be able to go against heavy armor. I do have a mine right here in case I try to rush any kind of tanks along my flank here on this hill. These guys are pushing up, and I have my own tanks pushing up. I'm like, you know, if he wants to fight me here, just gotta make sure I don't lose my squad. That was so close to setting off my own mine there. But I do have an IS-2, and I'm not really afraid to use this thing. I mean, it's a great tank. Anyway, they're pushing up on this side also, and they do have a Panther. Sugasavus is coming after me, though. It hasn't really achieved a whole lot besides killing some of my machine gun crews. Anyway, I'm putting down another mine here. It's probably a waste of munitions at this point because one, he just hit me and blew up my mine there, but the Sugasavus are coming down along this area aiming at me, so it seems kind of pointless because the Sugasavus is just going to blow up any of the mines I have. So I have 2 IS-2s now, probably more than I ever had. I don't really use the IS-2 that much, but I'm starting to like it. It got nerfed for a while, and then it came back and got buffed a little bit. But I have my machine guns moving up. I want to try to maybe push into this position. We definitely need that northern victory point back. You know, they just have one Panther. And they are kind of seeing, but Nick does have the AA up, which should be shooting down that kind of recon plane. So that's good too, to kill the enemy recon and any kind of bomb. Like, it can kill bombers and strafers. So I basically pulled back to this position. You know, I say, you know what? I'm guarding this point, basically. This area is too heavily entrenched. You know, they have several ATs, tons of infantry, machine guns, our Puma. The action's going to be in the middle and up north here, and I want to make sure I can help Nick out. So I have my tanks. These guys are quite slow to move, the IS-2s. So I'm my tank force here. And I saw a Panther up here, so I figure I can probably take on a Panther. So the IS-2s are going to move up. And we're going to turn. I want to make sure I can't really see the Panther through the fog of war, but I'm going to make sure see, that's right there. I wanted to make sure my armor wasn't, look at that. Devastating. I'm getting my rear armor hit by that Panther, unfortunately, though. Anyway, I got wiped out by a bombing run, so I just lost 2 machine guns, which isn't good. But I am trying to kill the infantry here. One of the great things is I spot the machine gun right here. So I'm going to probably call a artillery strike on that. Basically to get these guys burned out of their little house. So I'm trying to get these men over here because I figure a big assault's coming. I mean, they wiped down my machine gun squads after all, so it's a little quiet right now. But we'll have some action, trust me, coming up. You know, they're gathering their Panther Corps right here. And this building is barely standing, so I'm not going to put anything in there. Even a grenade could probably collapse this whole building. So I see these guys right here. They're going to be forced back. We're winning the victory points pretty handily by over 100 victory points right now. Now that I have some force, I might want to move up, but I'm kind of shifting. I'm not sure what to do with my heavy armor. I know I don't want to just run right into this blindly and lose my men. Artillery barrage going down right here. They're going to be kind of bunched up like this. I want to burn these guys out, and these barrages are doing quite well against these guys, burning quite a lot of them, and they barely got some of their troops out. The ATs seem to be much more susceptible to the flames. So I'm being cautious with my IS-2s currently, not so much with my T-34 though. I believe the Stuka is right around here, and I see it shoot there. So I figure they're probably not going to have anything right in the center here, so I'm going to try to move in and try to take that out soon. Yeah, if you have the if you hear that Stuka shooting at you, just try to move and get the hell out of the way, because that's very devastating. See, Nick is right there. So it's kind of interesting they have medical supplies. The thing is, once I break them right here, they're in deep trouble once I can push in. So here, I'm going to go with my T-34. I don't really care about it right now. I mean, I do care, but I'm just going to kind of push in. At this point, I'm at no return. And I see there's ATs and 2 Panthers right there, and I'm like, okay, I'm screwed. However, I am able to see this house right here, so I'm going to level it with the light artillery strike here, with the fire, incendiary artillery barrage. And that is going to force him out if he doesn't get burned out. But he's going to be forced to abandon that building, which is good for us. So we're really, both points have been neutralized. In fact, we're losing victory points right now, but Nick is repairing his ATs, which you can do. It's good to keep that in mind. But I'm going to capture this victory point because I don't like, they're actually getting a little cocky. They're moving up here. And I got a flamethrower tank. Now, I don't really use the KV-8 very often, but it is quite good against it's very good against infantry. It's very anti-infantry. And he is forced back right there. So my tank is up here. So they're positioning their ATs all over the front line, expecting a possible rush down the middle. And they moved a lot of their ATs from this side. Now, of course, with Fog of War, you can't actually see this. But I do have a plan with my KB-8 flamethrower. I'm gonna rush it in and try to take out the ATs that way. I'm gonna move that guy in first to absorb the AT fire and try to kill them, and then move with the IS-2s. Now Nick's getting hit from the AT right here. Target weak point would have been excellent. Just on the edge of range, and he's getting hit on his side armor, which is not good. So I'm just gonna push him, try to take this guy out. I think he's on his own anyway. I know I'm getting hit a little bit, but it's probably worth taking out a Vet 2 AT, and it's a Vet 1 AT, and that's gone now. I want to pull back. I didn't want to get hit. Devastating Nick right here. Isugasu is up to 27 kills, so it's really paying for itself. As are these shock troops. These have not paid for themselves just yet, but I got my forces ready. I'm going to push in. We're going to have some heavy armor. We're going to try to take this fuel away from these guys. And we'll win the infantry fight, though. I'd say hands down we'll win the infantry fight. We're controlling most of the map. Well, it's really half and half right now, but I'm going to try to help Nick. I saw in the last battle how he lost his half track. And at this point, I'm like, really? You're going to push right to my base? So I'm going to throw a grenade and push this guy back, basically. Watch how quickly these men damage these guys up close with their PPSHs. Low health unit. Completely wiped out. Anyway, I'm pushing in. I see a Tiger right there, and I'm like, okay. That's something. So we get suppressed. Vet 3, I just got to pull back. That was kind of a scout for my assault right here. And I see a Tiger. And Nick has 2 IS-2s also. And I'm my own. Gotta be careful of that Tiger. Moving in right there. But you can just see our shells bouncing right off of him because of his thick armor. But they also have ATs. We did shock the crew. So we're going to keep firing at this Tiger. We're going to try to kill it. They're being forced back, trying to hide behind their ATs. Thankfully this one is not man. Otherwise would have done a lot of damage to us. We're trying to take out that. I'm throwing down artillery on this guy. And that Tiger got killed, so very good. That was a devastating win, but then I see a Yak Tiger. I'm like, get back, Nick. We need to pull back. And I don't know why, but he's moving up his Panther again. So I'm pulling my men back. We need to repair back at our repair station, basically, right here. Kind of wish we had Soviet industry so we could have that repair bunker. And his tanks are heavily damaged, but he did lose his Tiger. That was devastating. And this guy's sniping him all the way back here. That's, you know, this is a pretty impressive tank destroyer, I guess you could call it that. Yeah. So I'm moving in here. I'm never going to stop the pressure on this side. But they're calling propaganda against me, and I'm forced to retreat. I think that was this. Is it the officer's ability that can... Wow. It's the officer that has that ability to do forced retreat. I don't use the officer very much for the OKW. When I do my flame tanks, we're so far winning this kind of attrition war, it seems like. But they do have a ton of infantry, and they even pulled back their ATs, so they don't really have a whole lot protecting this side. Including officer that's only down to 2 men. So they're going to kind of push up in the middle, expect me to come from this side like I did the last time. And that's not a bad idea. To kind of face your AT guns towards me. Because after all, that Suicifus is providing a nice... is softening up the territory quite nicely. Especially on Nick's side. I'm surprised he keeps his T-70 alive, too, this long. Anyway, he's moving up here, kind of scouting out for my tanks, and I'm like, great. Something's incoming. I was just gathering all my forces too to go for an assault, and that's a bombing raid. But I did shoot down, gave me Vet 1 because I did shoot down his vehicle, so that was good. I got a bunch of troops right here. I'm ready to push in and just take on this side. Now keep in mind it is a weakened side right now, so that's pretty good for me. They are pushing in, and that MG is forced back. So yeah, the Panthers are moving in. Very nice camo on the Panthers. So my big assault's coming in here. or I say my big assault. I need to push these guys. I really want to take out that AT, but I got to push in my Vet 3 shock troops around. I'm trying to toss a smoke, but like right here, my men are out of range, it seems like. But I have too many men, and I'm also Nick called in an incendiary artillery barrage to help me out here. And grenades are going down. Fortunately, it's right on my guys. But he couldn't have known that. So then I'm going to move in my flamethrower tank. Take out these units, and the IS-2s are going to follow up on my assault down here. I'm going after soft targets. I guess I'm trying to burn this unit first, and what really kind of sucks is that AT can actually hit me from this angle, so I'm going to try to push in and take out that AT. It doesn't matter if I lose this tank, I just want it to do its job, basically. And it did a good job. I'm even pushing in right over here. The mortar's got 8 kills so far. I'm forced to fall back my infantry, but I am devastating this side. Basically kill everything else. I'm gonna start shooting at this Puma, but he's gonna fall back again. So he's got to be careful. He doesn't lose more troops. So I've killed a lot of his men right here, and this attrition, you know, losing full squads, especially the veteran ones, that just shouldn't have happened there. So I've done my strike basically, and I'm pretty happy with my results by collapsing that right side. So now they're losing their feel over here. And you know, they're definitely not going to just give up on that easily. And he's using a lot of smoke. Let's see how much munitions these guys have. They're getting 43 a minute because they do have all munitions caches, surprisingly. And I'm going to grab a third IS-2. Now, I'm not going to recommend more than 2 IS-2s because the population is just killer on these guys, as it should be. IS-2s are very, very powerful. It's 24 population. So I'm waiting for these guys to close. They're going to kill me at long range here. I don't feel like losing my shock troops, basically, so I'm going to have to pull back after I capture the field, of course, to make it longer for them to try to capture it. But I do have my engineers moving in with my IS-2s. You know, if one of these little squads wants to come up and try to take me on, I say bring it. I actually didn't even retreat with these men. He's allowing them to be capped quickly because of his doctrine. Now I'm just making sure I don't get any of my tanks sniped at by this guy. And artillery's going down. You know, that's the problem with the blob. I'm going to force to retreat once that officer does die. So just keep that in a neutral state. These guys are actually repairing, and they're actually neutralizing the point at the same time, which is kind of cool. And these men are moving out, as are these. So they have a lot of their forces centralized around here. They have a lot of heavy armor, and they're not being too aggressive with it. They're not pushing in with one force. They're really letting us, you know, with our infantry, just be able to take over large parts of the map. And you know, the Wehrmacht player doesn't seem to have a whole lot of infantry. He has 2 machine guns. These guys are almost dead, basically. And I have no problem seeing that Panther out of position, and I have no problem trying to hit his armor. I gotta be careful that I don't lose any of my tanks here. And this is when Nick's gonna start to pull up. They're all aimed at me, and I'm like, oh god, gotta get out of there. And this guy's really warding us off as another Tiger pulls out. And I'm forced to pull back. I did pick up a Panzer Schreck, which is great. I'm gonna grab a third IS-2. I gotta be careful though. This house is officially destroyed. And look at these guys. 6 guys are heavily grouped up. This squad's screwed. Grenade right in the middle of all of them. And yeah, 34 kills on this shock trooper squad. So you gotta be careful when your men are bunched up with grenades, otherwise that might happen to you. And if he pushes right now with his Tiger, I am screwed. My tanks are heavily damaged. And I'm floating a little bit of resources, and Nick's coming over here to help me out. You know, thankfully this one's in front. I don't know why I'm pulling back the healthier one. I should be pulling back the more injured one. So Nick helps me, and that Tiger's almost dead again. And I can't wait to take out that guy. This Puma that's been annoying me throughout most of the game. So I'm healing up, and I have my third IS-2 out. So at this point, I don't mind losing an IS-2 as long as I do some heavy damage to the Wehrmacht. And that fuel is neutralized, so they're losing their fuel. And I have 100 population. I have 100 population right now, so I really need. I have this IS-2 out right now, but I really need to possibly get some quick kills and then basically sacrifice myself for Mother Russia. Which is probably not what the crew wants to hear. And you know, if I could, I'd probably take out these AT guns that are abandoned, but I can't because it's like a basically be very hard with all those ATs. So I am repairing as best I can, and they're reduced to 200 points. So this is a weak part in their line. You know, they're so focused in the center, and they have no victory points right now, and it's really weak down here. And I see there's a fuel cache down there, so I'm gonna deal with that in a little bit. And it says I can get another IS-2, but there's no way I have the population or the manpower to do that. And you can see I have my shock troops in. They're not full strength because I don't have enough population. They do have 37 kills. These guys have paid in dividends for their shot. You know, how much they cost considering how much they've killed. You bet I'm throwing grenades against these ATs. Anything I can do to take out these units. Anyway, I'm gonna fall back. I'm trying to lose my squad. Calling right on around this area here. Just trying to take out the ATs. And I have my own tanks here. And this is what I see. I see the enemy in chaos. I see Nick's guys going in. I'm gonna move out. It's gonna be the IS-2 blitz right here. And who cares about the victory point down south? It is all about hitting the flanks of these tanks. And I should really be targeting the Jagd Panzer. But I'm targeting this Panther because it is Vet 1. And I see it's pushing forward. So I'm trying to pick a target and stick with it. And it's going to try to be that Panther. I know I'm going to lose an IS-2, but that's okay. And surprisingly, all their tanks get away. And they're becoming more and more veteran. I'm forced to fall back. Problem is they wiped out my squad right there, so my guy was supposed to heal. I don't know what he was trying to do with trying to flank around with that. And those counters are gone. The good news is I can reinforce all my men now and I have the necessary manpower. So I'm going to probably stick with another T-34. You're just trying to get some more infantry to help me out. And he's going to let me keep wiping out squads like this. I'm just going to keep taking. I guess he's trying to scout for his tank. His Jagd Panzer right there is Vet 2. This guy Vet 5 would be almost impossible to take out. That's just crazy. So I'm pulling back. I need to repair my tanks again. And I killed some of those guys with a mine. So that's something though. That's pretty good. I'm taking out half that. And that guy's going slugfest, which it really is. I mean, we take the points, they take some points. It's all about really attrition right now. And the game is definitely not over yet. You know, if they were a little, I mean, they're holding basically a front line right here. But they're not repairing their tanks. They're sending one back at a time, which is smart. But this is really the weak side. And one machine gun against any of these shock troops I have now that are becoming more and more veteran, they don't really stand a chance. You can see this guy has 33 kills, this guy has 19, so my IS-2s are doing quite a lot of damage, and this one's destroyed 5 vehicles. So I see them trying to take out my munitions. Once again, 9 munitions invested in that guy. And it's going to be another squad wiped out, so he's got to be very careful about, you know, even if he has that, you know, I can go for a quick strike like that and force him back. So I'm going to move in. I see there's an MG42 right there. I'm going to move in because we get suppressed less and he's going to fall back. This just retreats. So now this side's falling to me again. I'm going to push in. I don't really think they have a whole lot over here. I almost wiped out that squad. And look at these. You're not going to beat shock troops point blank like this, especially when they're decent veterancy. And I'm just chasing these guys. I'm messing with their tanks over there and I'm forced to fall back as I call down more artillery. And I'm once again killing the mortar who was Vet 3, so I'm getting in behind their back and just being a nuisance with these guys. Absolutely 45 kills on these guys. That's the most I've had probably an infantry unit in a long time, if not ever. So I'm going to run back. They're not very happy with this unit. They're running through our own fire, which is Nick's fire. So I got to fall back there. IS-2 is still getting repaired. At this point, I kind of say, okay, they're kind of clumped up in the middle. Might as well move in with some more of my troops. And I'll just keep picking up these shock troops, sending them in to keep overrunning this southern front here, because they don't seem to have a whole lot. I'm moving my tank up on the hill, so hopefully I can, onto that hill, so hopefully I can see these guys and shoot off the hill. But my tank can't see them for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, they're making pushes against Nick. And his ATs are doing, you know, quite a good job holding off their tanks. But he can only hold off for so long. I am taking this area here. And now my tank's moving up. As far as they have nothing guarding really down here. I mean, they're vulnerable. They've been throwing a grenade at me. So I figure, I know that I'm grabbing my second IS-2. I know there's a fuel cache right here. I can see it through my fog of war. I know there's one right there. So I'm going to go try to take that out. Disrupt the enemy any way I can. Now they're being pretty, they're doing like launching attacks against Nick's position here, but they've really stopped against me in the center because they know I can just come out and support. So I'm taking their fuel once again. I do have a ton of fuel, and I can easily get another one of these if I need. But my goal is basically to destroy this fuel cache right now. And we're going to achieve that. And I'm just going to pull back just in case, because I know this guy's probably going to try to snipe me again. And he does even have the HE shells. That must be devastating. I should try to use that. He does have the engine improvements also. So I'm just doing quick strikes like that. Just being a nuisance and capturing more points. Because this is not, this guy has one machine gun. It's not good against infantry at all. All of us is Deutschland on it. And he's getting all his guys repair, not repealed. You can repair it up here. Shock troops moving in once again. 46 kills, 13 on these guys. These guys are not a bad unit either. And I'm trying to keep my infantry alive mostly through this game. I don't have a ton of infantry though. And you see, I'm finally going to try to destroy this anti-tank here. You know, if I can destroy something, I might as well. Especially now I know I'm safe from that kind of tank destroyer because they don't have any eyes on me. Especially along here. Look at all the unmanned artillery and anti-tank. Well, the mortar and the support weapons and the anti-tank. 3 anti-tanks right there. That is crazy. And I see that he's kind of moving in because I do have some infantry right here. That screen, I'm like, I tell Nick, I'm like, heavy armor coming in towards me. And I'm just going to move in, and he's going to miss as I pull back a little bit. And I like this engagement. Nick's tanks are coming over here. I'm going to push up again. He pulled back that tank. His tanks are going to start to take a lot of damage. And artillery's even going down. I have these guys screening. I'm going to try to kill some of the repair guys. Maybe even call down a barrage right here, which I'm going to do because look at that. So we're pushing and we're going to try to kill that Tiger again. Artillery's going down. These guys are freaking out. You know, fire's raining down. My men are pinned. And I want to keep pushing in, but there's some heavy tanks around here, and my tanks, I'm just going to pull them back. I'm going to start shooting at the blob here, and it's just getting completely wrecked. And I had to dodge a strike there, but artillery's going down everywhere. They're pushing in again. It's kind of like we don't want to just stand there and take it. We want to keep pulling back. I would have no problem engaging that amount of tanks if it wasn't this guy right here who did destroy one of Nick's IS-2s. But he has another one popping out right away. And I'm building the mechanized armor just so I can get some basic artillery to try to shoot at this position here. And I have my shock troops over here. I did lose my Vet 2 squad that got killed on the retreat. These guys are still here with 46 kills. You can see we're up to 44 on this unit and 25 on this one. Almost Vet 2. And I don't just want to stay there. I want to, you know, push into this area again. But I got hit and I got to fall back. So these tanks are heavily damaged. And you can only repair one at a time, basically. And he's going to switch targets and stuff. You can see he's even moving in his half-track to try to take out these guys. Nick is doing that. And the Stuga's coming down, no doubt, to probably wipe out these units right here. Nick is keeping his units supplied though with or reinforced basically with that half-track. They're taking this position down here, and I'm okay with that. But they're down to 32 points right now. And I'm healing up my IS-2, so that it's almost Vet. Well, it's getting closer to Vet 3. This guy's like half an XP away from becoming Vet 2, which would be great, because the Vet 2 gives this tank basically improving the target and weapon range is always a good thing. I'm going to move in again. I'm not going to let them just have this point. I'm going to fight for them, fight for this point, basically as long as I'm here. Iniga's fighting for the center. I'm even throwing down Molotovs. Moving in my tanks again. Pushing them back. He's the quick light infantry, you know, but it's not going to do that well against these guys. Against my conscripts will do fine, but with the artillery I have and the heavy tanks supporting me, these guys are burning up. And they have tanks over here. You know, they're really warding us off with those ATs, but the ATs aren't pushed up far enough to really support them. They're making, you know, pushes towards the center here, but came on IS-2s. Artillery's going down by these guys, probably a bombing run. And he's losing, basically almost losing units there also. Oh, they're pinning the troops. So once again, shock troops coming in, I managed to wipe out that guy, and I killed the repairman, so he can't get his guys repaired anymore, and I'm going after the AT. These shock troops are the ultimate thorn in these guys' side in this match. Killing so many different crews. And I gotta pull back because I don't want to lose them. And this is rather interesting, so he's maybe going for a King Tiger. Let's switch over to him. The King Slayer. He has enough to probably get a King Tiger. He has 500 fuel. So he's gonna try to set up this so he can get a King Tiger. He's gonna set up the Panzer headquarters. But he's setting this up literally right in front of me. Like, I can see him setting it up, and I'm like, that's not going to happen on my watch. I got two Vet 2 IS-2s. Devastating first shots from him. I'm just going to keep shooting. Even if I take a couple shots from this guy, I'm not too worried. And that's guy I'm going to pull the hell back, because I almost lost my tank there. These guys are moving. I'm going to start targeting. You can see that Panzer just bounced right off that. So we have all 3 victory points right now, and I can basically just guard this victory point by screening with my infantry, so they're in trouble right now. And grenades are just... My shock troops did excellent in this match. 49 kills in this shock troop squad. 49 on this tank. 29 on that tank. Katusha only had 4 kills, but came in quite late. So good game to our opponents. They played quite well. The thing is I don't get is that they had all this armor right here, and they didn't try to do like a desperate push into Nick's territory there, or even into my territory. You know, if you have the armor and points are ticking down, you know, you're down to like 15 or 30, just push them in, because, you know, you might lose your tanks, but they're there for a reason, you know. At least you'll maybe get lucky and be able to overwhelm the enemy with numbers or something. So that's the kills and deaths there. I had 221 kills, and I lost 177. I lost 177 troops. Anyway, good game to our opponents, and I'll see you guys the next episode. Conformant 221 signing off. Leave a comment down below and leave